Okay, so then the next question is if I'm going to have to change it.
Hey, this is Mitch from Black Circle Radio. The 2019 Amazing Vinyl Conference in Hollywood.
And I love vinyl. As I said, you know, the whole ritualism of it. And it, you know, when I do, I get a lot of mail from listeners who are absolutely obsessed with vinyl. It's almost like discovering Kubrick's, you know, moment in 2001. You know, it's that mythological and that extraordinary.
Francis Wolff on the left and Alfred Lyon in 1939. So Alfred came over first and was a huge jazz fan. He became a jazz fan in Germany. Francis too. Francis came over on the last boat out of Germany before the war. And they met up and they began to do some recordings. They didn't have a lot of money, but they pooled what they had and they started recording boogie woogie piano players like Albert Ammons and Meade-Lux Lewis. Alfred and Francis championed Monk, and they didn't make any money. You know, these records didn't really sell very well. Monk at that time, people thought, I don't understand it, the music's too weird, but they hung with Monk, they kept making records, they kept putting him out, and really, if it weren't for these two guys, who knows, we probably wouldn't have the music of Monk, because they let him keep making records. It's an amazing story. Miles looking like he's like 16 there, made some of his first records for Blue Note.
Hi, I'm Brandon from Vinyl Moon.
I'm Matt Block from Grown-Up Crew.
But ultimately, people were really into that idea that, you know, you have to really touch this. I mean, vinyl's physical, it's why we all love it. You have to touch it, you have to play with it, and that's something that Vinyl Moon hopes to celebrate every month, is make a record release that not only has great music.
I want to give a little bit of background on myself. I head up analytics and insights for Nielsen, and consecutive year of vinyl growth. Now, when I go back to the very beginning of that growth was teeny tiny. It was fractions of a percentage of the industry. What it is today is probably going to shock a lot of people here. Last year, we were over 16 million units. This year, trending so far, 24% of the physical business is coming from vinyl. And that's because of all of you who are working on it. That's because of the great packaging that I see around here. That's because of the collectability, the nature of that consumer.
And we have an incredible lineup of DJs here. These are world-class DJs, known around the world, top DJs in their field, and it's a privilege as a DJ myself to be on the same stage with these guys. I've known them all for about 25 years I met them when I first opened Fat Beats back in 94, 95, and they've all gone on to do amazing things that we would never imagine back then. And they've taken the craft to places that just didn't exist.
For this panel, we're going to be talking about women in vinyl, and I'm pleased to be joining the stage with Jen DiEugenio. Just to give a little introduction about Jen, not only is she the founder and curator of Women in Vinyl, but she's also the chief of sales for Furnace Record Pressings, and she's also an avid vinyl collector who organizes Sabbath Sundays hashtags every Sundays. That Sabbath Sundays has a very huge following on Instagram for big Sabbath vinyl collectors and listeners, and she's the brains behind it. So let's welcome Jen DiEugenio. So tell us more about Women in Vinyl and what made you decide to start this blog and community.
Yeah, so it really started when I started at Furnace. It had always been a dream of mine to sort of work with vinyl, but I never really knew how I would get there. And I do have a fairly large following on Instagram personally because I have always just shared music and shared vinyl.
Women in Vinyl has already garnered 4,500 followers on Instagram, and Jen has already covered over 50 profiles of women in different facets of the vinyl manufacturing business. So Jen has covered women in vinyl manufacturing, mastering, DJs, and we're going to cover it.
It's always been there for me. So there's never been a time when I didn't collect records. And I don't feel comfortable sharing this type of grief with humans. So I did what came naturally to me. I went to the record store and I bought a bunch of records. Okay? Vinyl Therapy. By the time everything was said and done, I spent $950 on those records. And the thing is that one thing that I keep repeating over and over again is that you guys here, we're not selling products. We are selling experiences. Because when I went to the store, I wasn't looking for a product, I was looking for an experience. I was looking for something to make me feel.
Stoughton make the absolute best sleeves and jackets for records, and I absolutely think it's a huge part of the vinyl experience. So those of you that make records, maybe putting a little sign saying Stoughton, it helps sell the records to me. I love these guys.
Which is a Southern California family-owned company that's been producing high-quality packaging for the music industry for over 50 years. The need for sustainability has always been important to Stoughton, just as it's been for our many record company customers, and we've taken the importance in how we operate our business on a daily basis. Starting with the paper, Stoughton has always worked with our paper suppliers to ensure that all of our printing paper and board, our standard floor stocks that we keep are minimum 10% post-consumer waste, and we often use higher PCW contents when requested by the record companies or by the artists directly. Whenever possible, we deal with local paper merchants to keep the shipping locally rather than across the country. And we have many grades of FSC and SFI sheets of stocks available. Plus, we also can get acid-free, elemental chlorine-free, and pH-neutral paper stocks when the artist asks for it, when the label asks for it. Stoughton's specialty LP packaging is the all-style tip-on record jackets. These are made with a base chipboard that's 100% recycled content with a minimum of 10% PCW post-consumer waste.
What kind of inks do you use? Is it going to stay black or is it going to
Soy-based inks.
Very nice.
And it's got this etch, like plexiglass.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's etched on the other side.
Yeah. Buttons right here.
That's awesome.
John Nicola, this is for you, my friends. We all got hungry eyes for your new vinyl in your own style Stoughton Records 24-point tip-on style jacket that nobody else will do.
This is not about the 70s, this is not about a band, this is about humanity. And I wanted to design a package that felt like something that if you chucked it off into space and it went off for 10,000 years, it would, 10,000 years from now, it would still reflect and represent who we are in all time.
Garnered 234 entries, and they were reviewed online by a panel of 30 judges on both sides of the Atlantic. These were award-winning judges in the graphic arts and music industry. Stoughton Printing to present the next 3 categories. Thank you, Jack, for providing the goodie bag.
So my first category to present is Best Illustrated Cover. The nominees are Overload, Georgianne Muldrow, Night of the Worm Moon, Shauna Cleveland,
Don't ask me to pronounce that shoveling black beauty. Flammabrana, Flying Lotus, Collapse EP, and Pacific Breeze, Japanese Pop, AR Boogie, 76 to 86, various artists. The runner-up is Overload, George Ann Muldrow, and the winner is Pacific Breeze, Japanese Pop Art. And accepting that award is the now infamous Patrick McCarthy.
Right on, woo!
Thank you so much. This was a really wonderful project to work on. We worked with a really famous artist named Hiroshi Nagai, who did many album covers in the 70s and 80s. He's a kind of, some people say he's like Andy Warhol of Japan. And we worked with Daryl Norson on this to do the design, and A to Z Media helped with the packaging and all the concepts that we did. So thank you so much.
Vinyl box set with at least 3 records. I'm Easy to Find, Deluxe, The National, Rick and Morty Soundtrack, Deluxe, Rick and Morty, and various artists. 001, Joe Strummer, Come On Pilgrim, It's Surfer Rosa, The Pixies, and 1963 New Directions, John Coltrane. The runner-up is 001, Joe Strummer, and the winner is Rick and Morty Soundtrack.
On behalf of our art department and Jeff Kleinsmith, I just want to say thank you very much.
And the winner is Alice Cooper! From Good Records, Michael Bruce from Alice Cooper, and Dennis Dunaway.
I'm Jonathan Cabral. Really flattered to win a packaging design award for this awesome project that Chris put together. Thanks to his OCD and his push to really make this packaging design really stand out. And thanks for his dedication to bringing Alice Cooper Group to Dallas to do this. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Ben.
You guys hired this guy, Jonathan Kimbrough. He's fantastic. We've collaborated on a couple different projects, but this one was really special. It was, I'm a record store owner, and I've also released records and managed bands, but I had the good fortune to put out a release by my all-time favorite group, the original Alice Cooper group, and I wanted to create something that would be a legacy to my kids, and I think I did that, and I'm very happy. And
this is a perfect example of what happens when you do things from the heart and for the love of something. This guy loves records, he loves what all of this is all about, and it shows in packaging.
thank you to Record Store Day for helping keep us afloat and those little boosts throughout the year. Record Store Day is a great thing. Thank you guys so much.
And the winner is Choose a Side, various artists. Accepting the award is Mr. Rob Hasham from Stoughton.
Thank you, and congratulations to Brandon from Vinyl Moon if he's here. I haven't seen him yet. Hey, Brandon. Right on. Thank you.
Is Coltrane.
So John and Alice's daughter, Michelle, is here with us. And grandson.
All right.
It's always an honor for me to speak about John and Alice Coltrane. It's a continuous falling in love with them all the time. Postcards just keep coming in. And on behalf of the entire Coltrane family and ColtraneHome.org, we thank you very much.
I'm Steve Vai, and thank you. And it's really quite a privilege and an honor because I get to honor one of the people in this business that I admire so much, and that's Bernie Grundman. The amount of records he mastered while at A&M is vast and covered all of the greatest artists signed to that label at the time. Some of those albums he mastered at the time were like Carole King's Tapestry, Prince's Purple Rain, Dr. Dre's The Chronic, and of course Michael Jackson's Thriller, the biggest selling album of all time. And in '84, he opened Bernie Grundman Mastering. He has mastered recordings on every major analog and digital recording format and has provided services for every major label. Suffice to say that in 2005, BGM, Bernie Grundman Mastering, Studios mastered 37 projects which received Grammy Awards nominations. Although Bernie's technology sets the digital streaming and CD standards for today, more than ever, he is still the true sensei master and indigo child of the LP cutting lathe.